Once back in the mansion area, we have only one more warp zone to get to, and of course, it's going to be pretty hard to get to that one. We have to go through a lot of rooms and backtrack a little bit in order to actually get there. The first step, though, is to work our way back up to the main floor of the mansion. Be sure to grab the items along the way if you do need them, pretty much the health potions in case your health has gotten a little bit low. In the main hall, head up the ladder, and then work your way over to the left. Inside here, hit the right wall to go inside to another room. Then be sure to open up the window and grab the health if you need it. Hitting this wall will allow us to get a ladder which takes us up to the top floor again. In here is the location to the room that we need to go to. Open up the door, head inside to the 11th and final warp zone of the game. What a surprise, it's a jungle theme with some rocks and all the same enemies that we've been dealing with. You're really not going to need too much help to take out the boss, but just be careful when you're working your way through. The big part of it is a lot of this bridge area with the piranhas jumping out of the water. Since the piranhas move so slowly as you're walking, you can pretty much just work your way over and not even have to deal with them at all. Over here we have some more of those blue exploding skulls. Just be careful and hit them as they fall down, or get underneath of them when they explode. If things get a little bit too crazy, pull out that grenade and take out everything so that you can at least continue moving and the game doesn't slow up too much. Once you get over to the right, walk over with the knife equipped and hit the enemy with your knife. The line will then come alive and start spewing fireballs at you. Get over to the left ledge and start firing. You don't have to equip the laser gun, it'll automatically equip once the bosses come alive. Keep firing lasers directly at the lion's head, and it'll only take a couple before he's destroyed. Once he's done, you've saved your brother and you can enjoy the ending. So there you have the ending to Dr. Chaos for the NES. Not a spectacular ending by any means, but you gotta remember that the game came out in '87, and most games didn't have a really elaborate ending till years later. The game does have its problems and gets a little bit repetitive as you get to some of the later warp zones. I would have loved to see some different enemies and some different backgrounds and gimmicks to go along with the later levels, but overall it was a pretty interesting game that has a unique concept for you to deal with on the NES. Like most NES games that have a maze in them, it can be very difficult to navigate, especially on your first couple of times through, and this is definitely one of those games you would probably have your notebook out back in the day to write down where you're going and where you have been to try to find your way through. As the credits finish up and we have our end screen, that's going to wrap up this edition of Play It Through. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.